Good day everyone, my name is LEA-2C from LEA-2C, and now I will discuss to you what is Marshall Islands. Now, before we proceed, let me ask you something. Have you heard about the Marshall Islands or any idea about the Marshall Islands? If not, let's talk about the Marshall Islands and I will explain to you what is all about the Marshall Islands. Marshall Islands is a country located at the Central Pacific, composed of 29 atolls and 5 islands, spread over an area of about 470,000 square kilometers. It has a population of approximately 70,000 people living in some 34 coral atolls and over 1,000 individual islands. The United States is responsible for the defense, but local enforcement is carried out by its national police and various municipal departments. But before we proceed, the Marshall Islands is the islands where US tears their bombs during the Cold War between 1946 and 1958. The Marshall Islands have employed a centralized national policing system under the Ministry of Justice, Immigration, and Labor. The Marshall Islands Police Department, or the MIPD, serves as a primary law enforcement agency responsible for policing across the country's scattered atolls islands. The Marshall Islands Police Department, or MIPD, was established in 1952 and functions under the Ministry of Justice, Immigration, and Labor. It consists of about 200 sworn police officers responsible for law enforcement and public safety across the Republic. The department is headed by a police commissioner, with deputy and assistant commissioners overseeing operations and administrations. Now, let's talk about the core strategies in policing system. One of the core strategies in policing systems is the international collaboration. The Marshall Islands Police Department, or MIPD, which is a part of the Ministry of Justice, uses its Interpol National Central Bureau, or NCB, in Majuro as a central international cooperation and intelligence sharing to fight organized crime. Some of their core strategies is combating transnational crime, since the Marshall Islands is being part of the drug trafficking route. Next is addressing gender-based violence, or GBV. The MIPD has adopted a survivor-centered approach to cases of violence against women and girls, or VAW. This includes specialized training for officers, strengthening referral mechanisms, support services, and establishing dedicated women and children's protection unit. Next is capacity building and training. The forces engage in ongoing capacity building and training interventions with international partners to address various crimes, including narcotics investigations techniques, victim identification, and legal procedures. Next is community and local policing. While not explicitly detailed, policing in the broader Pacific context often involves a mix of national police forces and local forces that report to local government councils, suggesting a level of community interaction and local governance in maintaining order. Next is anti-corruption measures. The government participates in the Pacific Islands Law Officers Network Corruption Working Group and has mechanisms to address corruption, which forms a part of strengthening the overall law enforcement framework. This time, let's proceed to their strengths. One of their strengths in the Marshall Islands is Police Department, MIPD. Because the MIPD has specialized divisions including community policing, criminal investigations, Marine Sea Patrol, and Interpol National Central Bureau supporting multi-faceted law enforcement capabilities. The force maintains international cooperation through Interpol, which aid in tackling organized transnational crimes as wildlife trafficking, drug smuggling, and firearms. The judiciary operates independently without political interference, supporting rule of law and police accountability. The Public Safety Act and related laws provide clear guidelines on police powers and duties, establishing a formal legal framework for operations. Recent human rights reforms, including a formal complaint mechanisms contribute to oversight and accountability. Next is weaknesses. One of their weaknesses is the police force in the understaffed and under-resourced, with about 200 officers serving a dispersed population across many remote islands, limiting rapid response and coverage. There are insufficient technical and human resources for advanced training, recruitment, infrastructure, and facilities. Limited expertise exists in handling complex transnational crime and human trafficking, with victim and witness support services poorly developed or lacking. Geographic challenges make effective patrol of vast maritime areas difficult, leading to vulnerability to fisheries crimes and illicit trafficking. The economic environment offers little incentive for legitimate business growth, which may indirectly restrict policing funding and capacities. Way back on June 6, 2022, in Majuro, the capital of Marshall Islands, a junior police officer in Ochi Atoll hadn't given a lot of thought to how he interacts with women reporting violence. But his outlook changed dramatically after attending training on gender-based violence and domestic violence laws. This training, Way to Earn More or A Place of Life, was delivered by Spotlight Initiative grantee Women United Together Marshall Islands, or WOTMI, and aim to help police officers provide more gender-sensitive responses to women and girls. After attending the training, he realized something. He said, "This training was sobering. I didn't realize I was causing further harm when speaking with the attending survivors of violence," he said. Police officers work at the front line of gender-based violence response and providing a positive first experience, and crucial for survivors navigating a complex justice system. This is especially true to marginalized women and girls, who are both more vulnerable to violence and less likely to report it. Unconscious gender biases can affect first response and influence a survivor ability to access services that are critical for their physical and mental health. Cases of sexual assault and intimate partner violence are particularly prone to police gender biases, which can result in failure to register a case according to procedure, shaming and blaming, or even accusing the victim survivor of false reporting. Women and girls with disabilities are more likely to have their credibility questioned due to harmful stereotypes. To address such biases, WOTMI has been training Marshall Island Police Departments on how to take a survivor-centered approach, promoting positive masculinities and providing guidance and responding to violence against women and girls. 15 police officers from across the Marshall Islands Police Department, outer islands of Daluit, Bizit, Woodsea, and Majuro joined the training. WOTMI work closely with each atoll's mayors to have their police force commit to the training, and had mayors join institutions themselves to demonstrate strong political leadership and their commitment to stopping violence against women and girls. The training increased officers' knowledge and understanding of gender-based violence and invited them to share their personal stories. Other officers says, "I am thankful that I have learned so much from this training." A police officer from Daluit. Another officer says that, "I am so happy because I will go back and start over. I will now unload this boat and separate the good and the bad. The good I keep, and the bad I will take out and set sail for a new journey." Another officer from Woodsea said that the training made him aware of serious flaws in the service to victims of violence. Having rethought his approach, the officer is now looking forward to making a difference in his atoll. Another officer says, "Through this training, I have learned about the important role I have played in ending violence against women and girls. I have a better understanding of domestic violence and gender-based violence." A police officer from Anitelu. Another officer from Anitelu said, "Through this training, I have learned about the important role I play in ending violence against women and girls. I have a better understanding of domestic violence and gender-based violence. My mission is to first change my approach and the way I work, and then work towards changing the approach of my colleges. I want to contribute to a community that end all forms of violence. Now, let's compare the policing system of Marshall Islands and the Philippines. Let's start with the Philippines. The Philippine National Police, or PNP, is a large, centralized, and national structure and with specialized units, while the Marshall Islands Police Force is a smaller national body within the Ministry of Justice. The PNP uses a wide range of community involvement methods such as media and face-to-face engagement, whereas community involvement in the Marshall Islands is likely more limited due to the scale of the country and police force. In terms of crime prevention, the PNP uses strategies like focused deterrence and hotspot policing alongside its traditional law enforcement, while the Marshall Islands likely focuses on more traditional, localized approaches supplemented by its national framework. The Philippine National Police, or PNP, features a hierarchical setup from national headquarters led by the Chief of PNP, through 17 regional offices, provincial or city offices, to local stations and precincts supporting around 228,000 personnel over 100 million people. In contrast, the Marshall Islands Police Department, or MIPD, under the Ministry of Justice is led by a police commissioner with a deputy for operations and assistant for administrations, comprising about 200 officers across a main station in Majuro, substations on outer islands like Ibi, Daluit, and Wotji, serving roughly 70,000 residents on dispersed atolls. Community involvement. The PNP emphasized structured programs like barangay peacekeeping operations, school engagements, e-government digital reporting, and outreach and violence prevention, fostering trust via lectures and social media in urban and rural areas of the Philippines. MIPD includes a dedicated community policing divisions, integrates with local leaders for sensitive training on violence against women and girls, and collaborates with mayors on outer islands to promote survival-centered responses. Crime prevention strategies. PNP deploys patrols, police integrated patrol system, anti-criminality operations, public safety services, Bantay Turista for tourists, and school safety projects rated highly effective in reducing index crimes. MIPD focuses on maritime sea patrol, traffic patrol, Interpol-linked transnational crime units, corrections rehabilitation, and fire rescue, addressing island-specific issues like illicit goods trafficking amid regional Pacific initiatives. In my personal insights or evaluations on the effectiveness of the model and its applicability to the Philippines, is for me when it comes to the PNP model of effectiveness is nag-demonstrate ito na high effectiveness in crime reduction with an 8.40% drop in focus crimes and overall ratings of very effective, means around 4.25 to 4.30 in organizations, monitoring, evaluations, and community-oriented patrols that residents perceive as implemented without lapses. For the applicability naman ng MIPD dito sa Pilipinas ay napakababa due to the vast scale difference of PNPs. 228,000 personnel serve over 100 million plus versus MIP is 200 for 70,000, making centralized hierarchy more suitable for urban vicinity and diverse threats. Elements like dedicated community divisions and maritime emphasis could enhance PNP rural islands operations. But PNP's existing robust programs already outperform in crime stats, suggesting adaptation over full-scale adoption. And that ends our video. And again, I am Ramin from LEA-2C. Thank you for watching my educational video. I hope you learned something.
One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. Two can be as bad as one. It's the loneliest number since the number One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do.